Welcome back to the cryptoworld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, Bitcoin is consolidating sideways in the short term, getting ready for its next major move. But while this is happening, Ethereum versus Bitcoin is flashing a major signal on the chart, which is sending the altcoin market a lot higher, including Ethereum and Solana, which is now running into a critical area on the chart, which I'll talk about later in the video. So definitely watch to the end. First of all, just giving you a really quick update here on the weekly Bitcoin chart. And of course, right now, the price of Bitcoin is still obviously within the much larger bullish trend on the weekly time frame, forming higher lows and higher highs. And at least as of right now, of course, the price of Bitcoin is still trading above this level of resistance, which was sitting at around $42,000. But at least for now, we have not yet confirmed that breakout, with a weekly candle close confirming above that resistance. And the next weekly candle close happens in a little over 2 days from now. So basically, if the price of Bitcoin is still well above 42,000 in 2 days from now, when that weekly candle close actually confirms, then obviously, once again, that will help to confirm the breakout above 42K. And in that case, of course, we have the next major level of resistance up here at around 48 to 49,000. And just taking a quick look at the daily Bitcoin chart, once again, the price of Bitcoin is technically forming a potential bearish divergence here on the daily chart, because at least for now, we still have higher highs in the price and lower highs in the RSI. But at least for now, we don't really have a lot of confirmation in place to actually fully confirm this lower high in place. For example, if the price of Bitcoin continues pumping to the upside, then obviously that can drag the RSI further to the upside. And if the RSI breaks out above this previous high, then obviously higher highs in the RSI and higher highs in the price is no bearish divergence. So at least for now on the daily chart, and obviously once again on the weekly chart, overall, we are still looking more bullish than bearish, because we're still forming higher lows and higher highs here on the daily chart as well as the weekly chart. And also, if you're looking at the momentum here in the MACD, as of right now, we're still looking bullish when it comes to the momentum. And now, as I've also mentioned just recently on the channel, we need to keep an eye on this DXY, the US dollar index. Obviously, if this short-term bounce continues into more of a bullish trend reversal, like what we saw back here or back here, for example, then obviously this is a potential signal that could lead into more of a pullback forming in the price of Bitcoin. Because basically, during the larger bullish trends that we've seen all year long on larger timeframes like the weekly chart, of course, during that larger bullish trend, we've seen some short-term pullbacks or short-term bearish trends here on the daily chart. And basically, we've seen 3 of those short-term bearish trends, or 20% pullbacks here in the price of Bitcoin, 3 of those during this year, 3 during this larger bullish trend. And all 3 of those significant pullbacks in the price of Bitcoin throughout this year, throughout that larger bullish trend, all 3 of those pullbacks have occurred while the DXY has been bullish. And so due to that, once again, we just need to keep an eye on this DXY to make sure this short-term bounce does not continue into more of a bullish trend reversal, because once again, in that case, we could be in for more of a pullback in the price of Bitcoin. But it is important to understand that this DXY has not yet confirmed a bullish trend reversal. Obviously, we're just seeing a small bounce, at least as of right now, which could occur within this bearish trend if we continue lower. And so once again, as I've been saying this entire time, we are still looking more bullish than bearish here on the daily chart, and especially here on the weekly chart. And if we're taking a look at the 6-hour Bitcoin chart, obviously over the last couple of weeks or so, we have seen a massive breakout from that ascending triangle pattern, which is a bullish pattern. And as I mentioned in my last video here on the channel, we also have these Fibonacci extensions, which have acted as a bit of short-term resistance for the price of Bitcoin. Because obviously during this breakout, we've had some small stops along the way around these exact Fibonacci extensions, especially more recently. Because just a couple of days ago, of course, we ran into this 3618 Fibonacci extension, which was sitting at around 44.2K to 44.3K. And right now, that is currently acting as short-term resistance. But if we see a confirmed breakout above around 44.3K, then the next Fibonacci extension is sitting at around 45.7K. But at least for now, just in the short term for the price of Bitcoin, obviously right now the price is just consolidating sideways after that huge move to the upside. And this is very normal price action to see, because it's unsustainable seeing straight bullish price action like this. And so in order to avoid a blow off top and a crash back to the downside, obviously seeing consolidations and pullbacks along the way can help sustain a bullish trend. And as for support, we have found a little bit of short-term support at around 43k approximately, but if we break back below that level, we also have this level of support, which is sitting closer towards around 42k. And if we're taking a look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, we still have a lot of liquidity waiting just above the current price of Bitcoin, sitting at around 44,500. And now, obviously, there's no such thing as a guarantee when you're talking about the future for Bitcoin, but it is very likely that the price of Bitcoin moves towards these areas of liquidity, these liquidation zones. Obviously, we've seen this time and time again, and so it is quite likely that sometime soon the price of Bitcoin could move up towards around 44,500 to liquidate a lot of those positions. Once again, that's not a guarantee, but it's likely that could happen sometime soon. And as for a quick update on my Bitcoin long position that I entered all the way back down here publicly here on the channel, as of right now, I still have that long position open, of course, continuing to generate a lot of profits as we continue further to the upside. And I also have my stop loss sitting well in profits, well above my entry price. And if you want to take trades just like this to make a lot of profit very easily, then make sure to have an account ready to go on an exchange like Bybit or Bitflex to take the next trade as soon as it comes. Because personally, I did take this trade over on Bybit, and so I'll make sure to leave a link to Bybit in the description down below and in the pinned comment. And in fact, if you use that link to make a Bybit account, you can get up to a $30,000 deposit bonus, but without that link, it's only a few $100s, so you might as well use that link down below to get those extra bonuses. But unfortunately, there's some countries around the world where you may not be able to access Bybit in, and so if that's the case, there is also Bitflex, which is another crypto exchange very similar to Bybit, but you don't need KYC with Bitflex. And so I'll also make sure to leave a link to Bitflex in the description down below and in the pinned comment, and if you use that link to make a Bitflex account, deposit $100 worth of crypto or more, and to make one trade over on Bitflex, you can claim a 10 USDT bonus completely for free. And that 10 USDT you can actually withdraw from Bitflex, so it's basically a free 10% return on a $100 deposit. And so if you're trading crypto anyway, or if you're preparing to trade crypto, you might as well set up ready to go with one of those accounts. Once again, links down below for those extra bonuses. But anyway, getting into the Ethereum part of this video, this is on the weekly time frame, and right now this massive breakout from this huge bullish ascending triangle pattern is continuing. But obviously over the last one day, nothing has really changed here on the weekly time frame for the price of ETH. And so if you're new to the channel and you want to know more about this chart right here, then check out my last video here on the channel. And so getting straight into the daily time frame, and of course right now the price of ETH is still potentially forming a bearish divergence, but like I said earlier in the video for Bitcoin, this possible bearish divergence on the daily time frame is not yet confirmed. And so once again, as I've been saying this entire time, we are still looking more bullish than bearish, forming higher lows and higher highs in the price, which is bullish price structure. And also looking at the momentum in the MACD, of course, this is still looking bullish. And if we're zooming into the 8-hour time frame, right now the price of ETH is very close to completing the bullish breakout from this bullish ascending triangle pattern. And this bullish breakout for the price of ETH actually happened after the bullish breakout in Bitcoin from this ascending triangle pattern on the 6-hour Bitcoin chart. And so basically, if you missed the Bitcoin trade, Ethereum was the second chance. That was the second chance trade here for the breakout. And so as I was saying over and over again, right at this breakout, that is the area to enter a long position to have a maximum profit to the upside. And personally, of course, I still have my breakout long position open here for the price of ETH with the technical price target still in mind at around 24.30. And personally, I will be closing a lot of that long position, taking a lot of profits off the table for that leverage trade right here, right at that price target. But I will keep some of that trade open, some of that long position open, like I did for Bitcoin, in case we continue pumping further to the upside. And in that case, once again, I'll just continue moving my stop loss further to the upside. And in case you're new to this, basically the stop loss stops you out of the trade as soon as the price crosses wherever the stop loss is sitting at. And so for example, if I entered a long position right here at the breakout, which I did, and if I'm moving my stop loss into profits above the entry price, then in the worst case scenario, if we dump right now, just see a quick flash crash, if that happens, of course, that will just trigger my stop loss and exit me out of the trade automatically in profits. And so basically, I'm just riding this move further to the upside, continuing to make a lot of easy profits. And as we continue higher, I just move my stop loss further into profits. And once again, if you want to take easy trades just like this to make a lot of easy money, then have an account ready to go on an exchange like Bybit or Bitflex. Once again, links down below to get those extra bonuses. And just taking a quick look at the ETH to BTC chart, this is Ethereum Ethereum versus Bitcoin on the weekly time frame. And in case you're new to this chart, all you need to know is if this chart is going to the downside, basically Bitcoin is outperforming Ethereum, so Ethereum is underperforming against Bitcoin. And of course, if this chart is moving to the upside, that means Ethereum is outperforming Bitcoin. So Ethereum is having bigger gains than Bitcoin, or Bitcoin might be having bigger losses than Ethereum if this chart is going to the upside. And so of course, this is not financial advice, but basically how we can trade this chart is by holding Ethereum if we're bullish on this chart and holding more Bitcoin if we are bearish on this chart, because of course the Bitcoin holders are doing better than the Ethereum holders if this chart is bearish, and vice versa. If this chart is bullish, then the Ethereum holders are doing a lot better than the Bitcoin holders. And right now we are at a critical level on this chart, not only running into major support right where we bottomed out previously during around the middle of last year, but also the weekly RSI just recently entered into oversold territories for the first time since that same previous local bottom. And so basically this is telling us that we have somewhat limited room to the downside, at least in the short term relative to the weekly time frame. And so this is a potential turning point. This is a potential point where we could see a larger bounce in the ETH BTC chart. But obviously any idea of a bounce would be completely invalidated if we break this line right here, which is sitting at around 0.049 Bitcoin per Ethereum. And so once again, if we break below that line right there on the weekly time frame, then expect this chart to potentially continue further to the downside, which would mean Bitcoin holders would be doing better than the Ethereum holders. But at least for now, due to the fact that the price of ETH versus Bitcoin is still holding above that critical level on the chart, of course, it's somewhat likely that at least for now, we're due to see either a consolidation or potentially a bit of a bounce here in the price of ETH versus Bitcoin, especially due to the fact that the RSI is still very close to oversold territories. But in this stage in the market, we have not actually confirmed a significant bounce or bullish reversal. Technically speaking, we are still currently within this bearish trend because we have not actually broken the bearish price structure of forming lower highs and lower lows. And so in order to flip more bullish again in terms of the trend here, basically start calling for a bullish trend reversal, we need to ideally see some higher highs and higher lows beginning to form. And considering this is on the weekly chart, that could take weeks or even months to actually form before we potentially continue to play out more of a bullish trend reversal, which could even last for over a year, considering this is on the weekly time frame. And now this is just a bit of personal speculation, but personally I do expect the price of ETH to actually recover a lot against Bitcoin after the Bitcoin ETF hype calms down. Because basically, let's just say if the Bitcoin spot ETF gets approved sometime soon, sometime perhaps in early 2024, then there will likely be a time period shortly after that where there's still a lot of hype, a lot of news to do with the Bitcoin ETF. But after that hype calms down, after we get used to the spot Bitcoin ETF already being approved, already being a thing, of course, everyone in the market will turn to the next major approval, which will be, of course, the pending spot Ethereum ETFs, which are actually pending right now and won't likely be approved until at least after the Bitcoin ETF gets approved. And so basically, once we see the spot Bitcoin ETF get approved, then once again, next we will likely see a lot of the market turning towards the spot Ethereum ETF, which could be a strong narrative helping the price of ETH versus Bitcoin after we see the spot Bitcoin ETF hype calm down. And also, usually this chart is a pretty good indicator for the overall altcoin market, because if this chart is going to the downside, it usually means Bitcoin is doing better than a lot of altcoins out there, and vice versa. If Ethereum is extremely bullish versus Bitcoin, outperforming Bitcoin, then that usually happened during market cycles where altcoins are also performing very, very well. And one of the top performing altcoins as of recent has of course been Solana, which is also one of the top requested altcoins to cover in the comment section of my videos. And so if you have any altcoins that you want me to cover in these videos, just let me know in the comment section down below. And if there's a lot of you requesting one certain altcoin, for example, I'll be sure to cover that here in these videos. But first of all, as I said 2 days ago here on the channel, we were forming an inverse head and shoulders pattern, which is a bullish pattern here on the 2-hour Solana to US dollar chart. And at that stage, just 2 days ago here on the channel, you can even check that video 2 days ago, we were right around here. And I said, if we bounce in the short term and break out above this line right here, which was sitting at around $65 approximately, then I said, in that case, if we actually confirm a breakout above that line, which would confirm their bullish inverse head and shoulders pattern, that would set up up a technical price target at around $71 to $72. And obviously the price of Solana over the last 1 to 2 days has done exactly that. We have confirmed the pattern, and as soon as we confirmed this pattern and broke out to the upside, of course, we hit the exact technical price targets within around 1 day later. And so once again, even if you missed the Bitcoin trade, the Ethereum trade only 2 days ago, this was another trading opportunity here for the price of Solana. But if you're new to the channel and you also missed out on this trading opportunity, do not worry, there's always more trading opportunities. So make sure you subscribe to this channel with notifications turned on so that you don't miss out on any of these major trading opportunities. But now that this inverse head and shoulders pattern has already completed here on the 2-hour chart, zooming out to the 3-day Solana to US dollar chart. And what we can see on this chart right now is the price of Solana has of course hit the technical price targets for this bullish ascending triangle pattern, which I did also mention on the channel all the way back down here. And since the point of the breakout to that price target, which is where we are right now, basically, that was around a 170% move in the price of Solana without any leverage. And so just for example, with a 10x leverage trade, if you took this trade right here with 10x leverage, that is 1,700% profits. So that's potentially life-changing money in one single trade like this. And of course, right now, the price of Solana is also running into the golden pocket Fibonacci area, which is sitting in between around $69 going up towards around $76. And this golden pocket is the most important area on the chart, the most important Fibonacci level. And so due to the fact that we are running into this Fibonacci level at the same time as completing the exact technical price targets for this breakout trade, of course, we could find some short-term resistance around this area. And so personally, I would be somewhat cautious around this area right here. For example, I would not necessarily enter into a massive new long position right now. But if we do ultimately break out above around $77 approximately with confirmation, whether that's right now or after some sort of consolidation or pullback, either way, if we do end up ultimately breaking out above that resistance, then we could end up heading up towards around $120 or potentially up towards around $140. Because first of all, we have the 78.6% Fibonacci level of resistance at around $120. And above that, we also have this previous high right here, which should also act as resistance at around $140. And as usual, we see previous resistance flipping into new support. And so if we see a breakout above this golden pocket, then we should expect support around that area. And as for another significant level of support further to the downside, in case we see a larger pullback, we do have some major support right here at around $45 to $46 based on previous resistance and also the 50% retracement level. But remember, this is talking about the larger moves in the market. This is not looking at the short term. This is of course on the 3-day time frame. And here on the 3-day chart, technically speaking, overall, we are still more bullish than bearish because we have not broken this bullish price structure. But of course, even during a bullish trend, we can have some short-term pullbacks along the way. So that's just important to understand that even though I'm more bullish than bearish here, of course, that does not mean 100% only bullish price action. It just means more bullish price action than bearish price action. But either way, if you want to know how to profit from crypto, no matter if we are bullish, bearish, or simply chopping around sideways, you can make profit in either of those scenarios by watching these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how to make money if the price is bullish or bearish using AI, and the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that's everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.